Hey guys and girls, this is going to be a review for the Seagate Game Drive Hub for Xbox. You can also use this on PlayStation if you format it correctly. This is the 8TB version with dual front-facing USB 3 ports, plug and play, and USB version 3. So let's get into it. Okay, so with the box open, you'll find the Seagate Game Drive Hub, installation manual, warranty card, power bank, and depending on your region and country, different adapters to suit your needs. One thing I will add about this hard drive is that you need to power this drive externally, as it's a desktop class hard drive with a 3.5-inch drive inside. It needs to be powered. With a 2.5-inch hard drive or a laptop style drive, they can be powered through just the USB cable. But on this unit, it does require a power brick. With the power brick unpacked, we can see that this adapter requires, outputs 12 volts at 3 amps. So if you lose this power brick, you will need to find another that is 12 volt, 3 amp. With the Game Drive Hub unpacked, you see it's quite a nice looking unit. Got the 2 front USB ports there, got the Seagate logo, ventilation on the side, and we got some Xbox branding on there as well. Looking on the back of the unit, sorry it's a bit dark, we've got the power input and the USB port on the back. And looking from the side, we've got serial numbers and model numbers. This unit can be mounted upright if you want, or flat. I will be using it flat, but there's nothing stopping you from mounting it sideways. Only thing I will say with that is, obviously, if you do that, it's going to be a bit top heavy, so try not to knock it over when it's running, because there's a drive running in there. You don't want to damage it. So if you're thinking of moving the drive whilst it's switched on, power off your Xbox, make sure it's unplugged from power, and then move it to avoid any damage. Okay, so setting up, you'll need to start off by finding the correct power plug for your region. I've already unpacked the UK style plug socket here, 3-pin plug socket. To attach it to the power supply, you need to turn it upside down like that, drop it in, and when you drop it in, you see there's 2 notches here. You just drop it in and push it all the way until it clicks. Okay, so for the purposes of this video, I thought we could plug the drive into the computer and just run a performance benchmark and diagnostic. So using Crystal Disk Info, you see it's detected the drive, 8 terabytes, rotation speed 5425 RPM. I believe this is a Seagate Barracuda Pro 3.5 drive inside, which is a server grade hard drive, hence why it's a low RPM. Shouldn't be too much of a problem, but we'll benchmark that momentarily. But the drive itself is running fine. Okay, so installing on your Xbox, first of all you want to make sure the Xbox is switched off, fully powered down. Now looking on the back of the Xbox, we're going to be plugging in the Game Drive Hub into one of the USB version 3 ports there. Again, I've unplugged the power lead just so we know it's fully switched off. And that's what it looks like with everything plugged back in. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and turn on the Xbox. Whilst the Xbox is booting up, you should have heard the Game Drive Hub firing up, and you'll see the white light glowing on the front, a steady white light. Okay, with the Xbox booted up, you should now have a message appearing on your screen asking if you want to use the drive for media or games and apps, and in this instance we'll be using it for games and apps, so we're going to select Format Storage Device. And we'll give it a name, so we'll just call it Game Drive or something. Okay, so we've given it a name, Game Drive. And then it will ask you, do you want to install games on the unit as default or by default? I will be doing that. I'll be moving over all of my game library to the external drive. So yes, the external drive, the game drive, the Seagate Game Drive will now become the default storage location for newly installed games. One other item here before we format the drive. The Xbox, the way the Xbox formats external drives, for every terabyte the drive holds, 100 gigabytes will be taken away, for, I guess for system use, or it's just how the Xbox formats the drive. Maybe somebody can shed some light on that. Anyway, this is an 8 terabyte external drive, so 800 gigabytes is effectively being used for the system, or it's been formatted away. So usable space for the game drive will be 7.2 terabytes. And lastly, the Xbox will confirm, do you want to format the external drive? So we will go ahead and format the drive. When the drive is ready, you'll get a little notification saying the drive is ready. To check your drive, you want to go to Settings, Storage, which comes under System. I apologise for the camera shake, I don't know what's going on with it. And if you scroll to the right, you should see your game drive appearing there. Again, with the Seagate Game Drive, 7.2 terabytes is usable, which is a bit annoying, but what can you do? Okay, so what if you want to transfer all of your internal data to the external? Well, you can do that from here. You just make sure you select Internal, then click on Transfer. And I'm going to select everything, so I've hit select all. So you see that that's 446 gigabytes of data that we can move to the external drive. In fact, I'll just quickly scroll down. Yeah, you see it's moving over some of the apps as well, which I might move those back later. The reason why some might not tick is because they're either they haven't finished updating or you're still installing them. You see Dead Rising 4 is not ticked. It can't be ticked because it's still trying to install on the internal. But when it's finished, you just come back in here and move it manually. So we'll make sure we've hit select all, which we've done, and then we'll click on move selected. You're about to move 17 items from the internal drive to the game drive, so I'm going to say, yep, move. And that should be it. They will begin to move on their own. It's going to take some time. It's quite a huge amount of data, but you can monitor the progress, which I'll try and find for you next. Now, as you can see, it's moving all of the data. So they will all queue up for you. This one's going to take a lot longer. You see this is 75 gigs. But you see the transfer speed is pretty good, I think. That's not going to take too long. So we'll just let that carry on and catch up in a bit. Now that all the games have transferred to the Seagate Game Hub, we'll try launching a couple of games. So we'll start off with Battlefield 1. Again, I apologise for the camera shake. Very annoying. So this is an Xbox One X running in 4K with HDR. maps were launched. Okay, so we'll just try loading up a Conquest on mixed maps. So bear in mind that this is the matchmaking stage, so this doesn't really count yet. Now Battlefield 5 is on its way. I've noticed a decline in players on Battlefield 1. Okay, here we go. So this is now the loading test. Okay, here it goes. Okay, and we're loaded in. Okay, so that pretty much sums up the Seagate Game Drive 8TB model. I hope this video has been of some help to you. If you have any questions or if I might have missed something, send me a message or leave a comment on the video. If you feel like it, give me a thumbs up. It's really appreciated. Thank you very much.